Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Kashif Kamran, your SBL tutor. I'm doing the investigation of the SBL December 23 examiner report, and within that examiner report, I found something very important. That was the use of pre-seen information in SBL. And the examining team has done an analysis of a stronger versus weaker student. I would just like to share that perspective with all of you so that it can largely benefit you in terms of your exam success. Now, we know pre-seen information is part and parcel of the SBL exam since September 23 exam setting. And there are some problems the students are still doing with the pre-seen content and how they particularly use it on the day of exam. Let's see the examiner perspective. The first thing the examiner is telling us from December 23 examiner report is that it was clear that the vast majority of the students had read the pre-seen information, which is good because it's released 15 days before the exam. So that gives you a good enough time to read through it. So examiner is very happy with the students reading it. That's not an issue. But the issue is in the number 2 bullet, where the examining team is trying to differentiate between a weaker and a stronger student. The examining team tells us that the better candidates use the details in the pre-scene to provide appropriate context for their answer. 100% of the answer will not come from pre-scene. You need to come out of that myth. If you believe that 100% of your answer is the pre-scene material, then what is the relevance of giving the exhibits, the new exhibits on the day of exam? So yes, the better candidates use the pre-scene to provide an appropriate context for their answer. The pre-scene is just making you familiar with the industry and the organizations, the terminology of how things are going in the organization. It's just providing you the context. So when you're writing your answer, spontaneously, you can recall something you read from the pre-scene, and you can just try to bring that down in your answer where needed. But look at what the weaker student do before I elaborate. The weaker candidate making concentrated efforts to force any pre-seen detail, no matter how inappropriate, into their answers. Just forcing the content of the pre-seen into your answer forcefully, even though it's not making sense. So you need to understand that first of all, the pre-scene is just providing you a context. It's just making you familiar with the nature of the business, with the organization, with the industry. And when you're writing the answer, by taking the information from the relevant exhibits on the day of exam, you might recall something because the pre-scene is at the back of your mind, it's absorbed in your mind. So you might recall something spontaneously and you just relate it with. But if you just forcefully try to dump pre-scene into your answer, you try just to put pre-scene as much as possible in your answer, even though it's not making sense, that's useless. So please ensure that most of your answers will be coming from the exhibits which are given to you on the day of exam, and your answers should be built from that particular information, not just forcefully putting pre-seen to impress your marker. That's not impressing your marker at all. So I hope you will benefit from this wordings of examiner in the December 23 examiner report for SBL. Wish you all success. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.